Security is the primary concern in a relationship. In this context, let's define relationship security as feeling safe, certain, and confident about each other and about the bond between you. Having this security brings about a natural state of ease, a relaxation, and well-being. If you look out at the world, you will notice that each and every society has concrete ideas about what creates security in a relationship and what destroys it. So what you get in any society is a kind of one-size-fits-all mentality and model of relationship security. The thing is, relationships don't fit inside a box any more than individual people do. Relationship security is something that can and should be customized to the specific people in that relationship. Being conscious and intentional enough to customize relationship security in this way makes all the difference in your relationships, and at the same time, it has the potential to break society free from its tendency towards rigidity. In today's episode, we're going to unpack this concept of customizing relationship security so that you can start customizing it in your relationships. Contrary to what many people may think, relationship security is not something that is just there and should just be there the minute you commit to having a relationship. It also isn't something that you build and then it's just there. Relationship security is something that you're consistently doing and consistently building and reestablishing every day in your relationship over the duration of the entire relationship. Every interaction, every conversation, every situation, each little moment that you experience with the other person is an opportunity to either establish and build security or destroy security. Metaphorically speaking, to put money in the security bank or take money out of it. If you want to learn more about this, by the way, you can watch my video that is titled "The Biggest Mistake People Make About Relationship Security." When something that a person in a relationship does or does not do creates fear, maybe poses a threat, invites the unwanted, or creates danger for the other person or for the relationship itself, on a physical, emotional, or mental level, some degree of security is lost in the relationship. And guess what? It doesn't matter whether that threat or danger is or isn't real. The reality is that you lose security in a relationship according to each person's unique individual perception. This awareness of how much relationship security is down to individual perception does not let you off the hook. A lot of people love to do seriously objectively destructive things in a relationship and put the blame of insecurity on the other person's perception of insecurity. At the same time, we must also be aware that there are all kinds of factors that influence a person's perception of relationship security or lack thereof. Things like personal experiences, beliefs, societal indoctrination. The list goes on and on. But let's talk about relationship security as a box. This rigid ideology that many people have relative to relationships. When people are operating within a one-size-fits-all relationship box, they will see certain things as a given, such as it's a given that if a man is in a relationship and he looks at another woman, he's making his relationship insecure. Or if a woman is monitoring her friend's whereabouts with a tracker, she's making her friendship insecure. Or something like a woman gives her husband negative feedback, and because of that, she's making her marriage insecure. Or a person engages in a sexual relationship with more than one person, and so they're destroying their relationship. Well, let me challenge these things. It's entirely possible that a man may be in a relationship with a woman who likes pointing out and looking at other beautiful women and kind of sharing in that zesty appreciation together. She may not mind him looking at other women, and may in fact only feel insecurity set in if he wants to act on his physical attraction to another woman. It's entirely possible that, let's say, a woman may have a friend who was so neglected as a child that for this friend to know that she knows her whereabouts at all times and that she's being tracked may actually make this friend feel even more secure in the relationship, even more protected, even more valued. It's entirely possible that a man may appreciate negative feedback in a relationship because he's deeply personally committed to things like personal growth and hates guessing where a woman is relative to him and hates guessing how she feels. So he feels more secure when a woman is putting it to him in an honest and raw way. For another example, it is entirely possible that a couple may actually have a sexuality that revolves around engaging in sex with different partners. And doing so enhances the relationship and cements their compatibility. Let's go down this rabbit hole a little bit further, right? Because we are very, very stuck in these rigid paradigms relative to relationships. In certain parts of the globe, being in love with someone is actually seen as being an oppositional force to security in a marriage. In other places, if a woman does not wear a covering over her hair, she's foregoing both protection and modesty, and her level of faithfulness in a relationship is to be doubted. All things which would cause a man to feel that they have no shared future together with this woman. In other places, the practice of wife sharing, which is where a man invites another man into his bed to sleep with his wife, is thought to deepen friendship between men and also prevent promiscuity and jealousy in both sexes. In certain parts of the globe, blunt insult honesty is seen to strengthen relationships, whereas in other parts of the globe, lying to somebody in order to be polite is seen as something that strengthens relationships. In some parts of the globe, couples feel secure when they spend the vast majority of every day away from each other and only spend quality time together when it's intentional, such as going on dates. In other parts of the globe, you get into a relationship to spend the days of your life together, so leading separate lives every day like this defeats the entire point of being in a partnership. For one person, sleeping in a separate bed from their partner may create serious levels of insecurity. For another, it may not really have an effect. For one person, wearing wedding rings may be absolutely essential for security. For another, it may not really matter. You get the point, right? What's important is to throw out the rigid model of relationship security. Start questioning your preconceived ideas about relationship security and custom design relationship security in your relationships in a way that suits you and the other person in that relationship. This is yet another reason why compatibility is so very crucial in a relationship. When incompatibility exists, it's a real problem for security in a relationship. I'll just give you a tiny example to illustrate this. Imagine that you wanted a feeling of exclusivity in a romantic partnership and you want a very physically faithful partner. For you, your partner being flirty and physically affectionate with other people makes you feel threatened and alone. Basically, it's the opposite of what you want. It's the opposite of relationship security for you. Well, getting into a relationship with an exotic dancer would be incompatible. There would be daily withdrawals from the relationship security bank account. Or, for example, if relationship security includes your partner maintaining your privacy, being with a person whose relationship security is about openness is going to be a real problem. If you get into a relationship with someone that is incompatible, the amount of effort you will have to put towards trying to create security in that relationship is going to feel a lot like trying to build a sand castle in the rising tide. It will quite literally be impossible to keep up. If you want to understand more about this, by the way, you can watch my video that is titled Incompatibility, a Harsh Reality in Relationships. So maybe at this point you want some examples. So I'll give you your first example of a couple that has custom designed their unique formula for relationship security. Let's look at Trevor and Millie. In this relationship, Trevor is the one that earns the money in that relationship. He fully provides for Millie. Trevor likes feeling fully in the masculine in terms of providership. It causes his confidence to increase and his sense of having a place in her life to be more solid. And without this financial pressure, Millie is more affectionate and loving towards him. She also respects him more, and he meets her lifestyle needs, which causes her to value him more. This decision enhances their sense of relationship security. Millie and Trevor have their own bedroom. They only share a room when they have sex. Now, both of them feel that having this autonomy causes their attraction to each other to be more intense, as well as causes them both to feel like they don't have to be tiptoeing around each other or conform to each other's, let's say, incompatible rhythms. Why? Trevor likes to work sometimes until 3 o'clock a.m. Millie likes to sleep at 9 p.m. and wake up early to go for a run. And they have totally different styles. You walk into her room, it's decorated in floral motif. His, it's leather and chrome. This too enhances their feeling of security in the relationship. So Millie used to involve her mother in every single thing 5 or 6 times a day. This was not enhancing the relationship security because Trevor felt like he was married to 2 women and that he had to please them both. Well, Millie decided to enhance their relationship security by not requiring Trevor to cater to her mother, except for on her mother's birthday and on Christmas. This agreement didn't feel like a sacrifice for either of them, so it enhanced their sense of security. Trevor met Millie at a kink festival. Millie is a submissive and Trevor is a dom. They attend play parties together. Trevor intentionally watches other men sexually engage with Millie. Both of them describe this being an experience that makes them feel more secure, more bonded, more attracted to each other. Now, this is interesting because this is something that would destroy other couples' sense of security, but it actually enhances theirs. Millie wears a submissive's necklace. Wearing this necklace makes both of them feel way more secure in their bond. Millie is very insecure about being lovable and needs lots of reassurance, and so Trevor makes it a real point to consistently reassure her and to shower her with words of affirmation throughout the day. And it works wonders. It has a real effect. So it enhances their security. Trevor does not do well with criticism. It was an issue in their relationship at first, but Millie needs to be able to voice her distress so that Trevor can make adjustments and respond to it. So they've come up with this kind of a system. When Millie needs to give Trevor negative feedback, she writes him a text message rather than confronting him about it verbally. So what he does is he gets to take this message, he gets to process it and deal with any shame that arises away from her, and then, once he's feeling more empowered, he gets to come to her with constructive solutions to the distress that she is expressing. This way of dealing with conflict between them enhances the security in their relationship. What else? Oh yeah, they both love basketball. So they make it a point to go to every single game of the NBA season in their area. Sharing this obsession makes them feel bonded. It enhances the security in their relationship. But now let's look at another couple. Let's look at Benham and Rahini. They both have careers that they adore. They've decided that putting all of their money into a joint account and building it up so they can invest in things together creates a sense of togetherness and wealth building, which creates security in their relationship. Both of them believe that fidelity is critical to their security in the relationship, and so the rule that they have come up with is that neither of them does anything to arouse insecurity in each other with a person of the opposite sex. For them, this means no flirting, no touching, no kissing, sex outside the relationship. They expect each other to end relationships where this is even a remote threat to their relationship. Benham needs Rahini to put lots of energy into his family of origin. Well, she's okay with this because it's a cultural expectation that she grew up with also, and she is okay with signing up for, especially because it creates a sense of belonging for her and means so much to Benham that it does strengthen his commitment to her. Rahini needs to be allowed to go out once a week with her female friends. For her, this fuels her and it makes her feel more free. Benham used to be threatened by this, but what he said is that it would make him feel more secure if he got to know these other women, so that he didn't feel like they were influencing her in a way that made the relationship insecure. So Rahini obliged to him, and slowly he got to know these other women, and now what he likes to do to be kind of the big man on campus is enable them to have a good time. Last time Rahini had a girls' night out, he actually found out where they had gone to dinner and bribed the bartender to bring them drinks on the house. This enhanced Rahini's bond to him. She found it extra thoughtful. But they both agree that every other day of the week they need to spend the evening together. Otherwise, they would start to feel disconnected, and their sense of security would suffer. Now, here's a fun aspect of this relationship. They were both never allowed to argue with their parents as kids, and so it feels freeing that they can yell and argue with each other. It enhances their intimacy and acceptance. In this way, what may destroy another couple's security actually enhances theirs. They sleep in the same bed every single night. For them, cuddling is a bonding experience, and sleeping separately is emotionally threatening to security. One way that they show their love to each other is by enabling each other's need for novelty. This is pretty cute, but they both have a bucket list of things that they really want to try, and they make it a point to help each other to experience those things on each other's list. Rahini is an excellent cook. When she cooks for Benham, especially when she sends him to work with a lunch, it makes them feel much more secure in the relationship. Why? Because he feels nourished and loved by her, and she feels totally received and appreciated. They are religious about wearing their wedding rings 24/7 and are very superstitious about other couples taking them off or losing their rings. This is a big point of security in the relationship. You may have cringed listening to these examples because, contrary to Trevor and Millie or Benham and Rahini, certain elements of that relationship may make you die of insecurity. That's how to know that those specific elements may not be a part of the picture of security in your personal relationships. May not be part of your personal relationship security formula. What's important to know is that it's not a given that X creates insecurity in a relationship and X creates security. It really depends on each individual. It isn't wrong also for a person or two people to decide to stretch themselves regarding security in a relationship. This can be a key component of growth in a relationship. But what matters is that if you do this, both people actually, not codependently, actually want to do it. If not, it's going to backfire. But one common example of this is, let's say that a couple gets to the point where they decide they want to open the relationship. Relationship security depends on troubleshooting the insecurities that exist in a relationship and custom designing your relationship together in order to create real security. Security that can be depended on. Have a good week.